'Twas the night before Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, and crypto traders around the world are looking at the charts, maybe looking at the presents under the Christmas tree, and asking themselves, will we get a Bitcoin bash or a Bitcoin bah humbug? Will we get a pump or will we get Scrooged? Will we get some green candles on our menorah this year, or is Santa going to leave us a lump of liquidations in our stockings? Find out today in this exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
Hey, I'm Cap.
I'm Carlos.
And we're with Particle.io, and this is Breaking Bitcoin.
Hey guys, welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live here in the studio. Today is Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, 2019. It's been a good year, guys. It's been a good year. All right, this is your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for novice, retail, professional, and amateur traders. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, whether that happens to be on this glorious day on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or maybe even on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. And we have got a truly fantastic show for you guys today. We're going to be looking at Agger Trade. We're going to be kind of watching the charts, watching the market. I got an active trade in. I went ahead and sewed up, and obviously the members of the group know this. I sewed up most of my trades that I had put on Binance yesterday. Just getting prepared for the holidays. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but sometimes if you have an active position on, you might be looking at your phone to check on it once in a while. So obviously moving into the holiday, into Christmas, I'm going to be taking the day off. We won't be here for the stream tomorrow, dedicating the day to my family, which they are, I hope, pleased. Maybe they'll probably like it. But it's going to be a great day. And this, guys, be careful out there on the streets. I think Agency said it best yesterday. These soccer moms doing last minute shopping have no respect for human life right now. Just be safe out there. And above all, don't stress about the holidays, guys. It's supposed to be about family. It's supposed to be about love. It's supposed to be about togetherness and communication. And you don't need consumerism and you don't need anxiety to bring that into you. Just think about it. What do you want to feel on Christmas? Happiness and togetherness or anxiety, right? What causes anxiety? Oh, who did I not get gift for? Oh, somebody sent me gift. I must get, come on, guys. Just, if the people in your life need to know generally on a regular basis that you care about them and that you appreciate them. So just make that a daily goal in your life. Make that a daily goal in your life to be a good person, to let people know that you love them, to let the people that are closest to you know that you value them and need them. And just enjoy it, right? Enjoy it. I talked earlier about, I have a very simple policy when it comes to Christmas, right? I make a list of all the people that I'm going to buy gifts for in November, and then I get each of those people one gift. And if somebody happens to send me a gift, they go on the list for next year. I don't stress out and run out and buy them something. This isn't, sometimes we do things. But if you just have that simple plan, very much like the market, if you just have a simple strategy, then you can get through the holidays and actually enjoy the day. Because when Christmas Day rolls around, I just want to see the light in my children's eyes. I just want to, maybe sometimes put on the Santa thing and do the Santa thing, blah, 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 and have fun, right? It's about fun. It's about family. It's about togetherness, not about stuff, gifts, things. But on to stuff, things, prices, markets, charts. We've got a fantastic show for you guys today. Before we begin, I want to give a big thank you, obviously, to the sponsor of today's show, which is Coygo. You guys can check out their free app at Coygo, COYGO.crackingcryptocurrency.com. If you're managing multiple accounts, if you're trading Litecoin on Binance, if you're trading Monero on Bittrex, whatever, Kraken, Coinbase Pro, you're going to be having, generally, if you're doing this yourself, lots of tabs open in lots of different windows, maybe multiple VPNs. You've got Tor running, you've got private browsers, incognito, and it's kind of a nightmare. And it's a lot to manage all in one. And there's not a lot of attractive turnkey solutions. If that sounds like you, I recommend you go check out Coygo. You can view live order book analysis. You can do real-time arbitrage spreads. You can transfer funds between exchanges, link them all up. You don't have to put your API keys in. And if you do, they're stored locally on your machine. Nothing touches Coygo servers except for pull requests. So, and by the way, did I mention that it is free? Their app's in beta version, so you guys can go check it out now. Again, that's Coygo.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And a brief word for them before today's show.
Do you trade cryptocurrencies on multiple exchanges? Coygo is here to help. View real-time insights, including trade analysis, order book superiority, arbitrage scanning, and more. No API keys required. Want to trade, transfer between wallets, or track your portfolio across exchanges? No problem. Just connect your API keys. They're only stored securely on your machine. Coygo servers never have access to your cryptocurrency accounts. Sign up now at coygo.app.
All right. I also want to thank today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, which of course is going to be Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io. And as we always do, let's give away 8,000 tender XSPC to a random YouTube commenter. So I'm just going to navigate over to yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And yesterday, well, the Bitcoin nightmare before Christmas did this signal the end. I love these thumbnails. All right. So I believe that the question yesterday was what privacy or how are you preparing for the cashless society? We talked yesterday about how China is gearing up to move us into the cashless society, making their economy cashless. The European Union will not be far behind them. So far, the United States seems on the sidelines. I assume that what the United States will do will be quite interesting, to say the least. But I asked who would be how are people preparing for the cashless society? Paul, Bob the Builder, he is. He says, personally, I hoard as much cash as I can and deposit it through an ATM with a receipt. Banks can put a levy on your account anytime they wish. I absolutely feel you. I do believe that if you deposit money through an ATM, it is going to the bank. Not sure on that. I'll have to double check my sources, but that's how it's always worked for me, sir. But thank you. Jap, love you, Paul. Love you so much, my brother. Japs over in Scotland, the banks don't want you to use cash. No, they do not. Mr. Ether, we got DMD. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see here. Huge rally in silver. Ricky Thompson, thank you so much, man. Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. So since it is the day before Christmas, I see that Bob the Builder and Jap were the individuals that commented specifically on how to prepare for the cashless society. So we're going to do something special today. You guys both get a hold of me, and I will tip you both some crypto, guys. Merry Christmas, and into today's show. All right, so here we are at the live scene. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Let's do a quick roll call before we begin. We've got Profit Bear, Ricky T, MT Coiner, Challenged Investor. We've got Hugo Chill. We've got Ron Legato. We've got Mahan. We've got Restream.io. Thank you so much, my friend. Oh, Mastache in the building. Liberty. We've got Tails. We've got Farbod. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. All right, cool. Good day. B-Flow. Working on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Yeah, same here, my friend. All right, hopefully you guys are like, let's just start off with this. I want to wish you guys all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, wherever you happen to be around the world. Enjoy this time. Enjoy the day. It's a good time, man. We've had a wild ride in 2019. Let's just be very well aware of that. We've had a wild ride in 2019. We've seen the bull. We've seen the bear. We've seen it all. Darren Garish, DLive crew holding it down over there. And it's been a great year for a trader, right? You know, as I often talk about with like backtesting ranges, 2018 January represents a good time to begin backtesting. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but if you are including the 2017 run-up in your backtesting calculations, I highly recommend that you do not do that. That is not a good statistical example of Bitcoin's price activity. Remember, guys, even with Bitcoin being what it is, things do not escape, generally, market dynamics. And a basic market dynamic is that the more active market participants you have, the less volatile price becomes. It's also related to the law of diminishing returns. There's a lot of math here that we could go into. But essentially, we can expect that if there is more mass adoption of Bitcoin's price, and just go back to what Bitcoiners and what people like, people who talk about the fundamentals of Bitcoin in terms of its, in response to the argument that Bitcoin could never be used as a currency because it's too volatile. So what is their answer to that? What is the Bitcoin community's answer always been to that? Well, guys, the more adoption that we get, the less volatile it would become. That's not great for traders, but keep in mind, this is a 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 year path that we're on. So lots of opportunity to make money. Anybody watching the order books or taking trades today is aware of that. So we were able to enter into another short. We closed out our trade last night, about 3.5% profit. We were happy with that. I just wanted to kind of close my trade out before I went to bed. And I went ahead and set limit fills at 74.47 is where I set limit fills. And kind of one of those situations, it's kind of funny, right? Where you, where you kind of look and you wake up in the morning and price is doing exactly what you kind of wanted it to. And we saw, listen, guys, I broke down the analysis of how to catch yesterday's movement. And we basically saw the exact same thing again today, right? Let's pull open, where is it? Yeah, we got aggro trade over here. Order flow still extremely negative right now. As long as order flow is negative, number go down. And in short. But we could pull this back a little. Yeah, it's not really. I don't really want to pull the 10-second chart back that fast. We can just look at it here on the 30-minute chart. Try holding control while zooming to maintain the chart position. Really? You don't say. Okay, cool. I learned something today. Oh man. Anywho's, so we closed our position last night. Before I went to bed. It was somewhere in this consolidation range. I was pretty happy with it. And then what happened? We saw price make a weak uptick over the very early hours of the American market. Not really even the American market. Who in their right mind is trading at 2 o'clock in the morning in the American market? Degens, that's who. But that's not the American market. That's the Asian market. And they pushed price up a little bit. And then right around the same time, right around 8 o'clock in the morning, right around the time that Americans do begin to get active, we saw, again, a big tap for liquidity, a nice volume spike to the upside. And if you were watching the order books, if you were watching the order books, but again, something like aggro trade is really, really good. If you're looking to catch really quick opportunities for low risk, you just saw all the big sell orders flash in. So, for example, aggro trade is a great tool. We talked about this yesterday. We looked at this yesterday. I talked about this in my analysis last night when I posted the premium members. I also talked about, I talked about the Crypto X scanner is what was my educational post last night. But I've talked about aggro trade a bunch of times before. We used to have it embedded in the stream. Maybe that's something that I can bring back, maybe down there at the bottom. It's pretty popular. But you could just see large sell orders come in. That's exactly what we saw over here. But you can also do an element of price action analysis as well. Very large candle to the upside, big volume spike. And we can actually bring up volume and look at this. Yeah, big candle to the upside, big volume spike, closes on a wick, and then a bearish engulfing, and big sell volume coming in. That's generally all she wrote, especially when you're near a market top, especially with more fundamental factors like BitMEX funding being positive. And the simplest thing is this: overall bearish trend. We've talked about bearish momentum. We've talked about bearish targets for a long time. And it was kind of through this. I talked about this kind of at length yesterday. I talked about moving in on Sunday and taking the long off of the positive momentum that we were getting coming in on Sunday. And we would have been foolish not to. We would have been foolish not to take this long to the upside because the volume was there. The volatility was there. But as has been the case throughout all of this range in Bitcoin, all pumps to the most part are to be sold into. So anyways, but we did take the long. We got the PTP trending long signal. Then we exited that trade. We only got about 1.43%, I do believe, on that trade to the upside. You guys can go see. All our results are posted at results.krakencryptocurrency.com. I believe you can actually now go to, since now we have all three traders' individual sheets, I believe you can now go to Justin results, Alex results, or DaVinci results.krakencryptocurrency.com. I'll let Scott correct me on those links. Mark Cuban versus Peter Schiff, Boomer of the Year. I'm a big fan of Peter Schiff, man. I'm a big fan of Peter Schiff. You know, his what's the word we're looking for? His his price predictions are universally kind of terrible. I think everybody knows that, but yeah, I listen to the Peter Schiff podcast. Go give Little Bubble some love. He's making some epic Christmas crypto songs. I'm a huge fan of Little Bubble. He's got my love, man. I've had Little Bubble. I've used Little Bubble for the stream starting before as well. Maybe I'll shoot him an email. Ask him if I'll make something for the stream starting scene. Okay, so overall, a relatively easy day in the market. Kind of one of those. Again, let me see if I can pull open. Let me see if I can pull open the chart that I shared last night. It's got to be over here. Yep. No. Maybe it's this one, but sorry, guys. Just wanted to try to get the actual chart that I posted last night. Ah, here it is. There we go. There we go. This was the chart that I posted last night. So I guess the only thing that in hindsight was wrong with the setup was the entry, because then I was forced to market enter in the well, basically soon after I got to my trading desk, by 8 o'clock this morning when I got into the studio. But I have my limit order set at 74.47, as you guys can see over here. And this is on the Coinbase chart, but the numbers are the same. But the reason that I put my entry up there is because I was thinking, well, ByBit's got a little extra volatility. I'll get filled on that retest of the point of control from 2 days ago. Also the kind of initiation level, the level where bears need to hold, because we can see a lot of volume flooded in there. That's where kind of the second wave of sellers came in. We'll see if they'll defend their position. And as we often do, we saw that's exactly where price turned around at. As I didn't get filled on my limit order, ended up I got filled at 7,300 is where I got filled at 7,300. And again, had a additional limit order for 7,310, which didn't get quite filled. So I'm just happy. It's the day before Christmas. I wasn't even really expecting to trade, but when I saw the volume and the sell bids come in, I kind of had to take the opportunity. I posted that trade for the members. We didn't get in until 7,300. And currently we're just targeting the weekly open. You know, there's a lot in me watching this, seeing the breakdown of price, that's just wanting to kind of hold the swing open for Christmas, but I won't. Ray Dalio versus Max Kaiser. Man, they're both kind of nutbags, to be quite honest with you. No comment on that. I don't really like either of them. If I'm being frank. Anyways, so I'm just conservative target. I'm just going to go for that weekly open. Kind of ease out the last 2 days with about 5% total movement, profiting on about a 5% movement on Bitcoin. I'll be happy with that moving into Christmas, and then I'll just kind of let whatever Christmas, whatever Christmas brings. Because, the nice thing is we've been hedged for quite a while. So all of my capital is hedged. So in the event the price does break down and I don't have full risk on the trade, and of course individuals can do whatever they like. In the event that price breaks down, I've got my hedge. I'm able to accumulate my BTC margin on the way to the downside, and I can kind of analyze when we get down there what I want to do. See if we get a reversal PTP trending signal to the long side. Again, not something I'll probably take on Christmas Day, because I've kind of made a covenant with myself that I'm just going to stay away from the charts and just unplug for the day and spend time with my family. So we'll see what we get coming back in on the day after Christmas, where I will be here. So let's kind of zoom out, start on the, as we kind of move into the end here, start on the monthly. This was the original setup for the long. As I said, we ended up taking profit when we saw the sells come in, and then we flipped direction to the downside. So we can leave that. That was also the example that I used for a split bid. We can delete these now as well. So we've talked about the monthly is quite simple here. We got the confirmed PTP sell signal on the monthly, ATR target of 4.9. That also lines up beautifully if we look at VPVR and identify our levels of supply and demand currently coming into the market. Again, let's go to the weekly for that. Sorry. There we go. And we've laid out. There we go. And we've laid out these cases before. There are 4 important or relevant areas of supply and demand currently that we're dealing with. The most prevalent is obviously going to be demand in the form of the high volume node coming in at 6,400, give or take. We also have our high volume node and our 200 simple moving average on the weekly coming in down at the 5.2, 4.9 area. And far below that, obviously, we've got the accumulation period of 2019. And this all does fit if you believe in like longer term things like the power law corridor or logarithmic channels or the rainbow chart on Bitcoin. You know, a movement down to about 5 to 4K would still not be out of the question, would be out of the norm for Bitcoin. Looking, and that's kind of the real macro, right? That's looking at these, you know, parabolic movements and trends. And I put far less faith in that than I do in my own technicals. I think that it's very, very difficult to, I think that it's very difficult, and I don't like the idea of making 5, 10, 20-year predictions because literally anybody can do that. Everybody does do that. And when people say those kind of things or make those kind of predictions, they're not holding themselves to any kind of accountability. Whereas myself, whenever I enter into a trade, all the members in my group see that, and I'm accountable to them, and I'm accountable to myself, and I'm also accountable to my family, who is relying on me being profitable in the market so that I can pay the electricity bill. Yeah, it's agr.trade, AGGR.trade. And then I recommend, if you're going to utilize it, I recommend if you're just looking for significant bids here. Ooh, nice. Good sells. Keep it coming, baby. Keep it coming. Oh, beautiful. I recommend, oh my dear Lord, that just ramped up. Did you see that volume come in? It's like all retail tried to sell there. This is like all the retail tried to sell there. This is kind of an interesting point in the market. So that number just spiked. Now, I recommend setting your threshold. So here's my thresholds. I'm not interested in anything under 500K. I don't want to get flooded. So 500K, $1 million, 5, and 10, right, are my thresholds. The problem is that if you put, you know, if you have all of the, if you have anything lower than 500K, your screen's just going to get flooded all the time. Yeah, the monthly looks very ugly. The weekly as well. WADA is still giving us bearish momentum. CCI dynamic still below our dynamic 0 level. The only thing that's kind of interesting is going to be Minx recovering for the second time from below the oversold level. No kind of div, actual confirmation. Whereas if you look at something like the RSI, you are getting div. So again, we talked about that before. The daily div over here on this big buyback on the daily, we can go see that. And I think that got a lot of people excited to buy into the market. But so far, they've just been sold into. And everybody that attempted to buy the breakout trade just filled liquidity, just filled sell-side liquidity. So unfortunately, it's looking kind of negative. You know, there is an interesting point on the chart with the weekly open, 70.99. And I talked about this theory yesterday about, you know, anybody that shorted at 7,400 is probably starting to feel like a golden god right about now. And so if there is, you know, kind of some of the indications that we've looked at that this may be a potential bottom. For example, we looked at hash ribbons the other day. We have recovered from minor capitulation. But we also, again, we talked about with that strategy, waiting in this case for the 10 and 20 simple moving average, which is Capriel Charles kind of recommended idea with this. I actually believe that comes from Mr. Anderson. The 10 and 20 simple moving average comes from Mr. Anderson over on Twitter for this particular setup. And that eliminates almost all of the drawdown with this particular entry signal and trigger. And that hasn't happened yet. So you do want to see price actually turn bullish for the confirmation of the bullish trend. And I'm really excited about that. Like if that happens, like overall right now, everything to me seems very, very negative. And I'm kind of looking at those lower targets. We just cannot seem to see buyers step in and actually do their job here, ladies and gentlemen. But, and that's fine. That's fine. We have a market where we can short sell. But if, you know, we do end up bottoming out here and putting in trend confirmation signs to the upside, that's pretty exciting. Because that means it's a local bottom for Bitcoin. And it's not much of a stretch to ride that trend, or excuse me, it's not much of a stretch to assume that we can get much higher prices actually coming out of Bitcoin, assuming in the bottom. But we don't have any confirmation of that. And again, we've talked about BitMEX funding as a contrarian sign right here, and we can see that BitMEX funding is quite positive. So overall, retail is still trying to long the top. They are still trying to long this breakout. And so far, all that they have done so far is fill sell-side liquidity. So not overall positive right there for the bullish case right now. We really need we really need a significant change in market structure for that to be tenable. But you guys know me. I did what I was supposed to. You guys know me. I did what I was supposed to. I took the long. But then I applied my own discretion and ended up taking the short. So close out of that last night. Re-entered the day at 7,300. Basically the open of today's daily candle, and still actually short at this moment in time right now. Not true. I shorted at 7,400, closed above previous high, 4,780, and watched it go to 7,680. I don't feel like a golden guy. Oh, Brett, my man. Yeah, so for me, the day is my day is pretty well played, pretty well planned out. I've got a target down here, initial target for the weekly open, right below the weekly open. I'm hoping we can tag that over the course of the day, and I can relax and kind of suit up and enjoy my Christmas, guys. I've got a few more articles that I want to write tonight. I want to post. I want to write up my analysis in my educational segment for the members. I'm not going to be, if I put on any trades this evening, they will necessarily be carrying into tomorrow. So I'm not going to be putting on any new positions tonight. The only thing that I'm looking to sew up for the rest of the day is going to be this BTC USD trade. For the most of the day, I've got some code that I want to work on. And obviously, I've got 2 mentoring sessions in the afternoon that I want to get to as well. So we've got a lot to talk about today in the form of news, guys. And I do want to kind of keep today's show very lighthearted, very exciting, moving into Christmas, more like a bronzed bird bath. Oh, man. So let me know how you guys are doing in the chat. Let me know how you guys are doing. What are your plans for the holidays? What are your plans here for Bitcoin? How are you guys trading this? And we'll just kind of keep our eye on this. About 2.5 million long step in. Not enough. Not enough. Don't buy the first bounce, ladies and gentlemen. What do we need to see for a great bottom / reversal? Well, as somebody who's not a huge fan of calling tops and bottoms, I mean, I'll simply say this. We've talked now for 2 days straight about how to spot somewhat overbought conditions and liquidity traps, or in other words, stop loss hunts to the upside and market movers engineering liquidity to reverse price. So you'd want to see the exact same thing in reverse. For example, you would want to see some area of the market where you see a huge explosion of sell side volume. And if you're watching the order books or you're watching like a trade aggregator, which is one of the best ways to capture these, you would look for huge bids being filled to the long side, right? Huge bids being filled to the long side. 10 million bids, 5 million bids, 2 million bids in large conjunction. And when you see that, that's often a good sign of a local bottom. And then for the trend, and in my opinion, and this is actually what I'm writing today in my education on using the baseline as a reversal bounce target. What we can do if we want to be a little bit more conservative, because honestly, picking tops and bottoms is not going to be tenable for the majority of retail traders. It doesn't really matter. You really do have to get up into much higher levels of professional capitalization before I'm going to recommend that individuals try to call tops and bottoms. You're often much safer to look for confirmation, right? So to have an idea of what a bottom looks like, and this can be candlestick structure, this can be divergence, this can be, again, volume is one of the best ways. I'm a huge fan of volume. It has done me well in my trading career. But you don't stake your bid there. You don't stake your bid there. You note that area as a level of supply, and then you look to see buyers defend that area. And if buyers can successfully defend that area, then you can buy the first trending signal coming up out of that area. So for example, what's a good example, right? Something like this, right? You can note this area as a level of supply, right? You can see, again, big volume, price pushes up into this area, price closes on a wick. Not as impressive, obviously, as this one right here, but the bears defend this area, right? The sellers defend this area. Price pulls down, price moves back up, gets rejected from that same area, tries again, and it fails. And then you see big volume coming on the sell side. And this is where we exited the trade as well. This is where we caught the movement as well. Adam says, I've watched your live stream twice now. Both times, Bitcoin started dropping live on your show. A trend is developing here. Well, that's good, man. I would say that I don't know if there's any direct correlation. We have been a little bit more actively, trading intraday over the last few weeks, but I think I would be quite more than humble if I took any account to take credit for that. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but thank you, man. It's just good, leading up to, I talked about this as well. December is often a seller's month. It's a seller's market. Retail is largely tapped out. People have bought presents. People do not have extra money to speculate or gamble on speculative investments or speculative trading. Even though maybe full-time professional traders might be taking time off from work and be more, or let me rephrase that. Larger capitalized retail traders may be taking time off from work and enjoying their passion project more. I think that overall the trend is definitely that, this is largely a time when retail vacates and you see institutional order flow for whatever reason, look to clear their balance sheets, look to lock in profit, look to dump failing assets. I mean, it's the end of the year, so you get these big significant changes. But in general, and we notice this with Bitcoin as well, December is generally, with the exclusion of the all-time high in December, which again, I would argue half of it was a buyer's market. Not really. Think about this. Let me rephrase this. Was December 2017 a buyer's market? No, of course not. That was definitely a seller's market, right? We have to understand that the majority of individuals were able to position into Bitcoin somewhere below 5,000, right? And you had a lot of retail push the price up, and just skyrocket up from 5 to 19,000 in a very, very short period of time, a ridiculously short period of time. So you have to ask yourself, was December a buyer's market? Was December 2017 a good time to buy? Or was it a good time to sell? It was a seller's market. December is almost always a seller's market. Christmas Eve buys, precious metal might be divergent from that. Precious metal may or may not be divergent from that. I will say this, that January often does have a bias across multiple markets, whether we're talking traditional exchanges, traditional markets, or in cryptocurrency as well, of being a relatively good time to buy, or at least to spot buy or to begin an averaging position, right? And I've talked about this before. I think that individuals, dollar cost averaging, if you're a passive investor, I think that dollar cost averaging is almost always your safest bet. I've heard a very convincing argument that dollar cost averaging is nonsense and that if you believe in something, you just buy and it doesn't matter what price. But again, that's an individual that I respect a lot. And he bought Bitcoin around 17,000. And he's just one of those hardcore individuals that has no problem with that. And he's like, I have never sweated one day in my life because I know I have full conviction and confidence that Bitcoin is going to be worth 6 figures or 7 figures. And while I applaud his confidence, somebody who has to pay the bills and relies on the market to pay my bills, let's, right? That tree is making noise behind me. I think it's haunted. C10, NU7. Sionut? He says, Merry Christmas. Keep up the good TA, buddy. Thank you, man. I highly appreciate it. Okay, so let's be very, very simple with this. We'll bring up and look at our PTP structure and see what we've got going on today. Let's bring up our baseline. All right, so there is an aggressive reversal baseline bounce to the upside here. Obviously, that's not the trade that I'm taking. I would want to see, again, just kind of what I talked about. I would want to see some signs of a local bottom, and then I would want to see that level be defended, and then buy the upside signal. And again, maybe on the 4 hour, maybe on the 4 hour, maybe on the hourly, but not. I wouldn't aggressively want to buy the reversal baseline bounce here. Not with the weekly open directly below us, and I do believe there's going to be a lot of liquidity there as well. So overall, I think the safest opportunity is to hold the trade to the downside. You know, what is interesting about that reversal baseline bounce, and again, we have to understand that we're in an area of chop, so we have to be a little discretionary, is that water's still positive with a rising explosion level. CCI is still above the dynamic zero, and MINX is still above not only the noise line, but also above the zero line, although curled downwards on the current candle. So we'll see. You know, I have again, I think it's the safest and easiest bet is just to assume lower prices and hold those positions open. But be willing to understand that it's okay if you have to wait a little bit for the breakout, right? I think everybody gets really really anxious about Bitcoin's price, and they don't have to, because, you know, when Bitcoin bottoms, it tends to trend for a long time. I think, as usual, the biggest problem that people have with trading Bitcoin in general is they're just not patient, and they want instant gratification. And they know, hopefully you guys know from watching this channel, that never works. Instant gratification is never a pathway to profit. Mr. Ether asks, isn't your system telling you to go long? The daily MINX, WADA, and CCI strategy, yes, would have had me, well, it depends on how you wanted to play it, would have had you initially go long over here on the close of this large candle to the upside. A little bit of drawdown, and then we would have hit, let's see here. Where's Quadrigo? There's Quadrigo. TP1 on that wick to the upside. Okay, TP1 on the wick to the upside. I waited. I took the powerful signal from WADA, and then we hit TP1 right here. And then I was monitoring the lower time frames with another strategy of mine, with my own discretionary trading, to be quite honest with you, and exited the trade. And I'm glad that I did, because that resulted in me being able to put more, well, figuratively, being able to put more presence under the tree. Now, let's just talk about the original signal. The original signal was a winner, but the trade, if one would have waited for the powerful signal, would have been a losing trade. So I'm quite glad that I applied my own discretion in this situation. I'm quite glad that I could guide not only myself but also the members to a better trade setup in this scenario, because I talked about being pretty hesitant about wanting to take the trade. That's why I waited for the powerful signal. And I'm glad that I was hesitant. I'm glad that I was looking for price to go the other way. But Justin, we're millennials. We want it now. I would hope that I cater to a wide variety of individuals. Challenged investor. You would have, challenged investor asks, if we're 100% hedged and price declines 50%, if we buy it back, will we have double the Bitcoin? No, you'll have 1.5x the amount of Bitcoin. So your position would have profited 50%. Deutsche Bank is trash. Hopefully mine German Brüderin out there don't hate me for saying that. Looking at the broader market, Ren, Luna, Celsius, never traded Celsius, and MadeSafe. I don't believe I've ever traded MadeSafe either. All up today for the most part. Everything else kind of clinging down with BTC's price. A lot of things up relatively over BTC for the day. Remember when, which would go to show that they're holding their value a little bit better. So we can kind of determine that by looking at how much they're down on the dollar, and then look at how much Bitcoin is down on the dollar for the day. So let's see here. Bitcoin down on the dollar about 3.66%. And we can see that on average, we've got kind of the I would say the larger medium-sized bubbles down around the same amount, maybe not holding their performance as well. But in sat value, again, kind of the same thing. In sat value, up about 2.9%, which means for the majority of almost all these coins, it was more profitable to just short Bitcoin, right? Hopefully that's very, very clear, right? If your altcoin is not performing in sats, so if your coin is not, so if you're trading an alt BTC, if your alt BTC does not go up against Bitcoin, more than Bitcoin goes down in dollars on a red day, because we do see that generally the sat value of altcoins rises on down days in the market for Bitcoin, then you're not having profitable trades because you're actually losing dollars. If your only goal is to increase your amount of Bitcoin, is to increase your amount of Satoshis, then that's fine. Okay, that makes sense. If you're just trading altcoins just to accumulate more Bitcoin, that's fine. But if you're trading for a dollar perspective, you're trading altcoins for a dollar perspective, if your alt BTC percentage is not greater than the percentage that BTC USD moved down, you're losing money. You're losing dollars on the trade. A lot of people don't know this. Listen, don't you guys start roasting me on the math, okay? I got a calculator on my desk for a reason, sir. Let's see here. Ethereum following right along with Bitcoin. Nearly there. Let's go see if anything's changing in the books. And no, not really. No, not really. You know, and we've seen bouts of seller, what could have been seller exhaustion before, but you need the converse to kind of happen, man. You need the converse to happen. I've watched this happen like 3 times today already, right? Seen sell off, struggle, sell off, struggle, sell off, struggle. Anyways. Gap has been filled on the CME. We've got delay. Yeah, we're obviously delayed right now, but gap has been filled on the CME. Gap is at about 72.35. Over on Coinbase, we're trading at about 71.76. So once the BTC1 data catches up, we'll be chunked down here. So, you know, bulls have a little bit of an argument there. I talked about the real gap fill. We've filled that plus a little bit of extra. Next kind of liquidity target would be the weekly open. But again, I'm not really looking for longs. At this point in time, I would want to see bottoming and then some form of continuation, because longs are just getting punished lately. We'll see what things look like on Christmas. There's still a possibility that we can get a little bit of a rise out of here, but I got to go with the flow right now. Keep a calculator in a holster, bro. What's my 2020 Bitcoin high? Oh, I don't do that stuff, man. I'm just a trader, bro. I trade what's in front of me. I don't do fantasy stuff. It would be great for me if we could see Bitcoin at above 10K would be great, right? Above 10K would be great. If we can just gain slowly and steadily in momentum and volume, that would be good. We'd be quite happy with that. But yeah, I think that you're right, Mr. Ether, and I think that I'm wrong. New cracking crypto shirt slogan. I'm just a trader, bro. Just a trader, bro. What's that Scott Pilgrim versus the world, where she says, we are sex bombs. We're here to sell out and make money and stuff. Be like, that's not the way I want the slogan to go. Okay, I'm just saying, like, I like the deadpan tone. Okay, that's my kind of humor. Okay, we've got a lot of cool news I want to talk about, man. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World is definitely top 10 movies of all time. Hey Ben, good to see you, brother. Ooh, that's an interesting one. 3.74 million order flow number go up for a while. Let's kind of see. Where's my yeah, here we go. What are we kind of working with now? Yeah, still 73.10. I think that's fair. That was the second initiation of selling. Yeah, nice volume spike to the downside. It's Christmas Eve. Let's do this. Ah, okay. Oh, they're ticking me off. Respectful. Oh. All right. Was able to do that. Took a little bit of profit. I'm going to refill at 73.10. If we get a push up there, I'll take the rest of my profit down at my original profit target at 70.42. What I'm all about. No stress holidays, guys. Trader by day, investor by night. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ether, man. It's here. It is over here. It was kind of funny. Where is it? No. Oh, Coinbase. Yeah, here it is. It's kind of funny, man. I was talking about this at the beginning of the show. The only place I erred on my setup for this trade was I arbitrarily moved my entry up here when I should have just, I mean, hindsight trading's whatever, man. Hindsight's not helpful. But if I would have just kind of gone with VPSV scalping an entry, which is how I used to trade predominantly, it was one of the first when we first started CC. It was one of the first videos that I shot. Yeah, if I just would have targeted this point of control right here, it's a beautiful retest. Again, hindsight thinking doesn't get you anywhere in trading. I was able to get in on a market order. And then, yeah, price wicked, I mean, beautifully down here to the real gap fill. We saw the initial buyback and then rejection from today's point of control, and then push down. We got a little struggle for supremacy right here. Had buyers finally step in. Now the kind of challenge to see if they can get over 7,300. If so, we can kind of be monitoring for a little bit of a momentum move, if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for bull trades. Or we can be really aggressive and try to trade with order flow. But, I mean, you got to look at the size of the shorts that have entered. I see the longs enter in aggregate. What I really want to see are like big orders. Big orders. It doesn't always happen like that, but it usually does. Anyways, guys, we're going to take a brief break. We're going to take a brief break so I can get some water. When we return, we're going to be covering the news. And we're going to be monitoring Bitcoin. Also, a good opportunity before the holidays to answer your questions. So if you got some questions that you would like answered, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, guys. Good opportunity for you to drop your answers in the chat. The moderators will grab them and bring them to my attention. And yeah, it'll be fun. We can hang out. So this, oh, that's not working. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Do some calisthenics while I'm gone. It's a good thing. We'll see you in just a second, guys.
This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com.
Do you trade cryptocurrencies on multiple exchanges? Coygo is here to help. View real-time insights, including trade analysis, order book superiority, arbitrage scanning, and more. No API keys required. Want to trade, transfer between wallets, or track your portfolio across exchanges? No problem. Just connect your API keys. They're only stored securely on your machine. Coygo servers never have access to your cryptocurrency accounts. Sign up now at coygo.app.
Hey Justin, I am live at the latest BitMEX liquidation area and it is a sight to be seen around here. There are things going way over my head. People are angry. That guy over there, I believe his name was Reggie, just lost 13 Bitcoin, but I don't believe him. The fucker's wearing shorts. Don't you get near me, Reggie! Alright. But anyways, I mean, it's a crazy place down here. Everyone's saying that their stop losses were wrong and everyone's blaming the market, but I'm pretty sure they're all just a bunch of idiots out here. Back to you, Justin.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, live at the latest BitMEX liquidation zone from junior analyst Midwest Attempts, enjoying his Christmas break. Hopefully he's doing well. Just wanted to bring that one to you guys. All right, hopefully you're doing well. Now, today, what do we got over here in Bitcoin City? Still moving down? Makes me happy. All warm and fuzzy inside. So we'll look at some chart requests here in a minute, but first, want to get into today's cryptocurrency segment. Let's go. All right, starting off today, keep the news brief, but I want to touch on the main points kind of going into Christmas. With Christmas anxiety, people tend to get riled up, but these are important issues that I want us to be aware of, that we need to continue to talk about, because how we respond to these issues, and again, we're in charge of shaping the world. Our actions actually manifest destiny in front of us. So let's talk about Ethereum. The 2.0 upgrade is raising a lot of concerns from both sides of the aisle. Yesterday, we talked about the Glacier Mir update, the hard fork. It's not a typical hard fork, but it is important for node operators coming up on January 1st. And that caused some outcry, mostly from Aragon, who have outcried the previous Constantinople upgrade. And kind of my take on that was, you kind of got to be ready. But yes, I mean, there obviously is a lot of concern coming from individuals and dApps that have developed on top of Ethereum, wanting it to stay stable, and Ethereum as itself as a protocol wanting to grow and shape and develop and have to choose its own path. And so this is just a concern to be aware of. But transitioning from Ethereum's current proof of work to its much vaulted, much decried proof of stake idea is a process that has never been done before. We've never seen a proof of work chain, correct me if I'm wrong, a proof of work chain, especially not one as high profile as Ethereum, transition and migrate to proof of stake. And of course, with all the decentralized applications and users of the Ethereum protocol, this is obviously going to change things for a lot of individuals. Now, thus, every single concept of the Ethereum migration process is going to be extremely important to the entire community, especially, as I said, decentralized applications developing on top of the network and node operators. Now, Vitalik Buterin, co-founder of Ethereum, has published an alternative proposal. This came out yesterday. And this was his thoughts on how Ethereum 1.0, which is what we currently have, can start its transition toward Ethereum 2.0. And this proposal is going to be covering what is called the beacon change stage phase 0 of Ethereum 2.0. So Vitalik's proposal is essentially to use a new validators list, which he would entitle ETH1 friendly validators. So the idea is that friendly validators should be created. And with the initial stage, these validators would be responsible for both the old Ethereum 1.0 nodes and the Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain. Now, that all kind of sounds okay at first glance. We're transitioning into proof of stake, into trusted nodes on the network, and we can kind of transition and I assume elect friendly nodes as we kind of move forward. But this is where it gets really interesting. According to Vitalik, he says the ETH1, quote, the ETH1 system would live as a shard of Ethereum 2. The Ethereum 1 full node would download all blocks on shard 0 and maintain an updated full Ethereum 1 state. Now, it should be noted that shards are the interconnected parts of the Ethereum 2.0 blockchain. They're going to be implementing sharding. Now, while explaining this position to his colleagues, Vitalik also suggested that the transactional cost to the fees associated to send transactions on the Ethereum blockchain should rise slightly or may rise slightly. He added that calling a contract and thus running its code further costs an additional 1 to 2 gas per byte of code. So all in all, Vitalik is proposing or assuming that the average Ethereum transaction would be about 5 to 10% more expensive than before. Now, we don't dive deep into the technicals. That's not my speciality in covering the markets, not as far as blockchain development goes. I tend to focus more on the markets, but I think it's important, that if this is elected, I think, so let's talk about a couple different things. There's obviously a lot of concern between individuals that believe in the proof of stake model and individuals that are vehemently against the proof of work model. And I think that the idea is one of security, is that essentially proof of stake at its core, even though the idea is that individuals who are heavily invested in the network contribute to the network, there are, the main arguments for proof of stake is that it is secure, is that it is just as good at maintaining the stability of the network, because individuals that have that hold lots of the token would be necessarily interested in its benefit. But we're also attempting to build something that is government hard. right? And I think that proof of work allows us to have that, especially when you consider that competing nation states are going to have different takes on whatever protocol that we're talking about. We can see that specifically with Bitcoin. Miners have the ability to pick up and move. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this. The idea, this is kind of why I kind of smile and laugh when we talk about mining centralization in China, although I've covered it before and it is something of a concern, especially in the form of, I think people just get overblown on these topics, right? You know, Andreas Antonopoulos said it best himself. If there was ever a 51% attack, these people would spend millions upon millions of dollars to rewrite a few transactions until the network mobilized and reform the hash power, split the chain, kick them off the network, and they would be out a ton of money and they'd never be able to spend those Bitcoins in the first place. The same with the kind of FUD story that came out from Bitcoin Cash talking about Bitcoin and the double spend problem using replace by fee feature. That's all nonsense. Any normal person who's ever used Bitcoin more than once, all merchants are aware of this, and all these solutions are already built into every merchant solution that is widely distributed or utilized. So it's kind of interesting that it comes from Bitcoin Cash. But I'll say this. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. The entire Bitcoin network used to run off of just a couple of laptops, right? Just used to run off just a couple of laptops. And that's why I don't get overly concerned when we talk about mining centralization. The reason that mining is so expensive is because there's a lot of competition for it, right? The network can still run without a lot of the competition. It's not very hard to process a block. It's actually a simple computational process. The only reason why we need all of these ASICs is because there's a lot of people trying to do it at once, and therefore the competition for it has risen exponentially, right? But obviously, proof of stake, Ethereum transitioning to proof of stake is a big issue. And I think that the main concern here, not main concern, but the main thing I want you guys to be aware of for those who are regularly sending transactions on the Ethereum blockchain is that your transaction costs, if they adopt this, are looking to rise 5 to 10% on average. Depends on the volatility of the network. And I think that this is going to, unfortunately, I don't know how well some of these dApp developers have prepared for this, because this is coming relatively quick. We had the opportunity to listen to Vitalik in San Francisco give a speech on this. So let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Not a lot, just wanted to cover this. The transition to proof of stake is important for us to be aware of, and I just want to give you guys the highlights. This, however, this is a little bit more up my alley. Proof of stake tips. Sear your steak before throwing it in the oven. Sear the steak, bake that baby, delicious. Or open fire grill. All right. So, this article coming to us from the Bitcoinist. YouTube cracking down on crypto, removes videos without warning. So, obviously we know that YouTube has been the prime video platform for around a decade now. About a decade and a half, honestly. And over the years, it has definitely had its issues with creators. However, the majority of these problems have had their roots in real issues concerning the nature of posted content. Now, the platform, it seems, is currently cracking down on a specific topic, seemingly, some would think, without any reason. And so the allegation here is that YouTube has, without warning, removed countless cryptocurrency-related videos from pretty much, from many channels dedicated to virtual currency. They did not only strike against potential scammers and YouTube nobodies, but also against well-known influencers. So the last part is concerning to me. So what I understand of this so far from looking into this, obviously our channel hasn't been affected. We're very, very, very careful to, put our best foot forward. And I think that's the problem for the majority of this space. And I made a post on Reddit. There's a Reddit thread where I made a post this morning. You guys are happy to go search for it and look it up. But I just kind of want to give my thoughts on crypto YouTube in general with this. Unfortunately, I think that this space has allowed for the rise of lots of individuals who do not have their viewer base's best interest in mind. I think that individuals, a lot, unfortunately, of people, of individuals that people look up to the most on crypto YouTube or on crypto Twitter, for example, do not have, as I said, their viewers' best interests in mind. And that's why I try to be very objective. I don't do a lot of stuff that other crypto YouTubers do. We try to cover different content than other crypto YouTubers do. And we just try to be, we try to be as authentic and honest as we can, because at the end of the day, the burden lies on us. We're accountable to everything that we say and that we do. And it's been my experience that operating properly and not looking for quick and easy cash opportunities, for example, that I see a lot of these other channels do by promoting coins and tokens and projects, things that we don't do. I think that eventually comes around to bite them. So we've always been very cautious about who we partner with, or about who we promote, or what we say, or what we do. And it's a live stream, so you guys get kind of my unadulterated thoughts sometimes, especially on days like Christmas, when a lot of individuals are taking the day off. But and in response to this, I'm also seeing a lot of individuals come out and shill really, really hard for other decentralized platforms, or even token projects that are trying to build alternatives to YouTube. And I'm fully supportive of that. I'm fully supportive of decentralized alternatives. We stream on DLive. We stream on Twitch. I wouldn't say is necessarily decentralized whatsoever, but again, we do stream on DLive, which is a good decentralized alternative. And Steemit made a good attempt. Unfortunately, Steemit has lost a lot of the wind from its sails, and I think a lot of that has to do with kind of the bear market. We had a lot of individuals get really excited about Steemit when it first launched and utilize Steemit, essentially. But Steemit is just not what it used to be. We also have kind of the issues with things like Gab, and we have other decentralized. I know Howdo is building a decentralized kind of media creation platform right now. So it's just interesting to kind of think about what the future is going to look like, and where content creators are going to end up lying. I mean, obviously, individuals kind of stake their claim on a particular platform, and they do their best to support that platform and conform to that platform, especially individuals that rely on that platform for their source of income, or for a significant source of income. And I think that gives us somewhat of an edge, because we don't necessarily rely on the platform for our income, because we're traders and we're able to rely on our trading profit. This was always just an opportunity to bring the message that we wanted to bring to the public and build a community, which we're really passionate about. I'm really passionate about. It's given me an opportunity to meet some of the most awesome people that I've met. It's given me it's a great filtration process to meet actual seriously committed traders and not only boost our own community, but just grow. And I don't think that there's necessarily, I don't necessarily believe half of the things that I've read about this, because I've seen things that I just objectively could go look and see that they're not true so far. But information on this is still rolling out, and I'll let you guys know as a content creator on YouTube. I can say that we haven't been affected by this. We haven't seen any of our videos deleted, and we cover a lot of topics, some of them quite controversial. And I would believe that this is kind of the first thing that you would see if this was serious. This is kind of the first thing that you would see in advance of a campaign to suppress cryptocurrency. But I don't necessarily think that's what YouTube is doing. They already have the ability to do that if they want to. But overall, I guess like I said, I've looked into this a little bit. Our channel hasn't been affected. I'm not aware of other channels that I know of, or that I follow, or that I associate with, that I talk to, that have been affected by this. And I don't necessarily see some serious campaign from YouTube to censor crypto. I think largely what I've noticed is that channels that have been affected were not great channels to begin with. Were channels that were not there to begin with. I mean, most of them violate things that are directly in YouTube's terms of service. So I don't know. I need to think about this a little bit more. I'll give you more of my thoughts and opinions on this, but I just wanted to cover on this because you guys are going to be seeing this. I know a lot of people are talking about this right now. And as with most things, it's more like, calm down, guys. Just relax. Just be good, honest, ethical people, but All right. So finishing this up before we slide back into Bitcoin and I can answer your questions. BitMEX Research. I really like BitMEX Research. So BitMEX Research predicts Bitcoin trading between 2K and 15K in 2020. I almost feel like this is a satire I almost feel like this is a satire article. So let's see what they got to say here. So the predictions from BitMEX Research say that Bitcoin will not trade any lower than 2,000, and on the high end, that price will not break 15,000 in 2020. That's a pretty wide range. That's a pretty good price prediction, right? 2K and 15K, right? So here's their 2020 predictions for BitMEX Research. Bitcoin over 2,000, but also under 15,000. Bitcoin's dominance under 75%, but also over 30%. CSW says 2021 is the year that the Chinese will shut down Bitcoin mining and 1 million of his coins hit the market. Whatever. And Matic falls in value by over 80%. Happy New Year's. So I guess we'll check back in with this in about 12 years or 12 months, excuse me, and see how well BitMEX Research hit the nail on the head over here. I definitely agree with them on over 2,000. And I, again, just as I kind of said, people asked like what my BTC, somebody just asked earlier what my BTC 2020 high is. And I don't like those. I don't like those things. As I said, I would be happy to see price at or around holding stably around the $9,000 to $10,000 area. You know, we've looked at the long-term chart before and we've talked about how currently 6 to 9K is fair market value relative range for Bitcoin. And we can just see that from the volume, from the visible, from the volume profile. Volume by price, this is where the majority of Bitcoin's volume has traded in. And when we get in here, we range around and chop for quite a bit. When we're above here, we tend to trend quite strongly to the upside. And when we're below here, we tend to trend quite strongly to the downside. And when we're in here, price just bounces around because this is largely a very broad, very volatile range where individuals feel comfortable not only buying, but also selling Bitcoin. It's a battle between the bulls and the bears, and that is how fair market value is established. And what we want to see ultimately come out of this is these levels hold, continual lower highs, continual higher lows, and eventual higher highs, which is the way that bullish trends form. And I'm quite positive about that. So it would be quite good to see, what was the previous bottom of Bitcoin? Let's say 3.5K, right? And get a little bit more granular depending on your exchange, but let's say 3.5K. So if we look down at 4.9, and we see that as the bottom for December or maybe early 2020, that would be a great sign to see. That would be an overall continued lower high in an overall bullish market in a largely parabolic logarithmic trend. It'd be a beautiful thing to see. ACDC says, hey, Justin, wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for your help in the BTC space. Thank you, man. Thank you. I hope you have a Merry Christmas too, my brother. So let's get back into my wheelhouse over here in the realm of Bitcoin. And let's pull open let me see what I got. I'm just going to start at the bottom and scroll up. Let me know if you guys got anything you'd like me to look at. Dun, 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 dun. Thoughts on the hash ribbon turning green? Yeah, I talked about this yesterday. Because that was one of the. Here it is right here. So hash ribbons turning green, signaling that hash rate has recovered above difficulty, meaning that miners are now net profitable now, and that kind of the takeaway from that is that the majority of the excess selling pressure has left the market. That can be a bullish case. Remember that we still have the potential for steep drawdown until I think we have, in this case, I talked about this earlier in the show too. I think the strategy that Mr. Anderson suggested with this hash ribbons indicator was the 10 and 20 simple period moving average crossover following the hash rate recovery. So that's the actual buy signal, right? And adopting that strategy historically with this indicator has resulted in eliminating most of the drawdown associated with buying off of this strategy, as using this as a predictor of market bottom. So I removed it from the bearish argument. I still think the bearish case is still quite strong. I laid out the monthly signal. I laid out the weekly signal. I laid out the lack of bullish volume. I laid out the lack of follow through. VPVR, the current supply level, the 55 EMA, the 200 SMA. So all of the bearish technicals, the bearish argument still makes far more sense to me. As I said, I'm happy to reverse my position if and when we get another or a continuation or a more powerful trending signal right now. I will probably look back a couple days after Christmas if we do end up trending to the upside here, and this does represent the local bottom for BTC, which I'm unconvinced of right now. And wish I had taken my reversal baseline bounce. Some of my traders will take that and kind of giggle at me, but that's okay. Kind of the biggest problem again, and this kind of comes back to patience, is just being patient and waiting for the movement to come. I think a lot of people get themselves in trouble with a highly volatile asset because they're not patient. They don't let the market just come to them. When the opportunity presents itself, you capitalize on the opportunity to the best of your advantage. And I just don't see that. Bullish opportunity here yet. I really want to see proof of it. And when proof of it comes, that's a good thing. Because local bottoms are significant and that they're local bottoms. I mean, look what Bitcoin did when it bottomed out at 3.5K. And then if you go back to 2016, 2015, you got really nice movements out of that. The other thing, BitMEX funding is positive. Retail is still attempting along this area. We have been choppy, but just not what I want to see. So just to correlate what I said yesterday, again, I removed hash ribbons indicator from the bearish argument. I stuck that over on the side as neutral. It doesn't get added to the bullish argument, at least in this, until we get the 1020 SMA, because that is the system that I've backtested with the indicator, and it backtests really, really good. So it's not going to be part of my regular PTP. This fits into the realm of Bitcoin discretionary signals that we can find, because Bitcoin allows us to have unique data metrics that we don't often have in other markets. For example, things like BitMEX funding, which we can see is correlated to the market, things like hash ribbons, which we can see is correlated to the market. And we also have a really good, ability to aggregate trade data, which normally retail individuals are not able to do very well. Hugo Chill says, I say somewhere between 100 and 100,000. Do I want to bet? I will take that bet, sir. If you are right, I will send you a Cracking Crypto t-shirt, brother. Get a hold of me in the Discord. Mario Casanova. I definitely appreciate your passion, my friend. I'm not sure what the right thing to do on it is, or if I need to do necessarily anything. Definitely things that I'm thinking of, though. Thank you. Mr. Ether says, Steam it sucks and is full of bots. Yeah. It used to be a lot better, man. It used to be neat. Yeah, Ricky T, I mean, the government are, well, you know, whether we want to label it the government or central banks, actively, I mean, just look at the gold and silver price suppression of the 20th century. And we talked about, I don't know what happened with the algo, man. We mentioned YouTube and you guys just kind of went a little nuts, brother. Why does Vitalik have a Ripple shirt? That's, you know, Illuminati confirmed, man. Did I see the interview with Vitalik on the portal, Eric Weinstein? No, I saw it. I saw that it exists. I have not watched it yet. What's the answer to Fermat's last theorem? I don't know, but I did read Fermat's, not Fermat's, but oh, what's the name of that book? Is it Fermat's Pendulum? It's a really intimidating book, I'm not going to lie. I really liked it. Oh, shoot. It was about it's a crazy novel about the Knights Templar and, you know, a lot of the kind of fundamental concepts that are in the Da Vinci Code, but honestly, a much better book in my opinion. And oh man, what's the name of that book? So I thought it was something Pendulum. Cryptonomic, what's going on, my friend? Hit the like, boys, to signal for a Christmas miracle. Hard fork. Hey, Last Heart, good to see you, my friend. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't distribute those rewards. We didn't give lemons to our DLivers over there. Let's do that, man. In fact, what do we got? What do we normally give away? 50 lemons a day? Let's make it 500 today, guys. Let's make it 500 today. Distribute these. Foucault's Pendulum. Thank you. Thank you. Foucault's Pendulum. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I really liked this book. Yeah, Umberto Eco. Yeah. I read this book maybe like 5 years ago. It's a really good book. The first chapter is kind of hard to get through. I enjoyed it, but it was difficult. It was difficult for some of the people that I recommended the book to get through the first chapter. But once you get through the first chapter, it's really, really, really good. I mean, really good. It gets wild. This book gets wild. You guys want a Christmas? I don't even know if it's like Christmas would be a great recommendation, but if you guys want a book recommendation, you know, I've obviously shilled Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink, one of the best books for practical helping individuals out ever written. Foucault's Pendulum. If you guys want to challenge yourselves, definitely go get Foucault's Pendulum. Oh, there's a 4.5 million buy that we missed 7 minutes ago. I'm glad I took my 50 percenters there. Order flow maintaining positive at 1.5, IE number go up. Back at the real gap fill. Be a little bit more patient. I'm not looking to go long here. Give me those damn lemons. Foucault's Pendulum. Behold the pale. You guys. Permat. Stop it, you guys. put a link in the video to what? Oh, okay, yeah, to Foucault's pendulum. Foucault. I'll just put it in the live chat. Ugh. All right, let's do the DLive. Let's do the DLive. Mr. Ether's like, quick, just distribute the rewards now. Coming in hot, Mr. Ether. Did it just cancel out? Oh, there we go. Ricky Thompson, 238.5. Mr. Ether, 137.4. Derek Crypto Meister, 99.6. And Hugo Chill, 79.3. Congratulations, my friend. Big wins today in the lemon chest. Big wins today. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the continued support. You guys are awesome. Nice. That might be it. I don't think so, but that might be it for the Bears today. We'll see. Gotta be patient. Keep it very simple again. You know, getting back above 7,300, that's pretty critical at this point in time for the bearish argument. Again, aggressive. Might look at that order flow, see the 4.5 million buy bid and say, well, you know, it's Christmas Eve, general low volume day anyways. That might be enough to establish order flow to the upside for the course of the day. Maybe we will get a little Christmas miracle. I don't know. I don't think so. Nice. Banking. You're welcome, Ricky T. Love you, brother. How old am I? I am older than 30 and younger than 40. Moonshine fuel. Moonshine fuel, get him. What weekly close would move my overall position to long-term bullish? So here are some things that I would like to see to move my overall opinion to the bullish side, okay? Following the hash ribbons indicator recovering from capitulation, I'd like to see a 10 and 20-day simple moving average crossover, okay? Let's go to the daily. Okay, I would like to see a daily 1321 exponential moving average crossover. I'd get very excited if I could see a 1355 EMA crossover. I would like to see price close above the 55 EMA. Overall, and then on top of that, if I really want to be, if you want my opinion on price has bottomed, we are in a bullish trend, buy pullbacks. We need to see price break above that area of demand, or excuse me, area of supply overhanging. And again, you can encapsulate that with a price level of 8,000. That also has the benefit of being a psychological target, but overall, if we get a continuation signal, I'll take the long trade. But discretionarily, to put me in a position of put me in a position of that. Those are the things that I want to see. I want to see my baseline crossover. I would want to see demand broken, and I would like to see that Hashram's indicator recover, right? This is pretty simple. It's pretty basic. On the weekly time frame, I think so what I want to see here, we have a pending 1355 weekly cross under, which is exactly what heralded in the last half of the bullish trend of 2019. So if that cross under occurs, I think that's a pretty strong argument to the downside. And again, moving down to this lower demand zone with the weekly 200 simple moving average and the high volume node at around 4.9, 5.2K. And I kind of want to point out exactly what happened. Although it is interesting that this is occurring on the opposite side of it. Look what happened on the way up in the bullish trend. We consolidated briefly in the vicinity of the 55 exponential moving average as price was moving toward it. And then we broke above it. And then price, we actually got the EMA, the baseline cross under, and price exploded to the upside. Price absolutely exploded to the upside. And we got that culminating in the blow off top, which is exactly how bullish trends end. We're seeing the exact same thing. Now we are seeing that consolidation occur below the EMA, below the 55 EMA. But again, look at that 13 weekly. It's moving closer and closer and closer. The trend is overall bearish. And if that cross under occurs, that's not generally a good thing. That's not generally a good thing. And we can also see the 55 start to droop and move down as well. So, there is a third possibility here, which is that nothing really happens and we just kind of consolidate here for a long time. But I highly doubt that, right? Volatility has contracted fairly tightly. And what happens after contraction of volatility? Expansion. This is why we utilize our volatility filter. It's one of the most important elements of our trading strategy to let us know when it's okay to trade. Mr. Ether, I'll get some hex just for you, man. I'll ride this one with you, brother. Bids at 1 to 2 sats is the best. Let's give it a shot, man. No, but it's a great situation for a 40% bullish candle before down to 4.9. Here's the only thing with that. So let's go back and look at the daily. All right, so now let's correlate. That's if you want to know why I like BitMEX funding. Look what happens. So BitMEX funding is before those candles tend to occur. And on the daily, let's give this a refresh. Okay, so generally, prior to those candles, we have negative funding. Generally, prior to those candles, we have negative funding. And that's the opposite of what we're seeing here. Seeing positive funding. Now, it's not kind of at my danger area. Danger area would be above 0.1% or 0.1 on the funding meter. And overall, if we look at daily volume, it's not Not extremely impressive, man. Not extremely expressive. Price moving down and volume moving down is not typically bullish. The only thing discretionarily or subjectively is the size of this candle and the volume, but we've seen those before. So it's an interesting area, and again, I think the biggest thing here is patience. Let the movement come to you. Am I working on a volume indicator? There's about 3 that I'm working on. So obviously I've done the work on Lazy Bear's original, well, he was the one that originally ported it over to TradingView, but I have my implementation of Wadatar Explosion. I've added a few things to that, and I'm working on a new implementation of that right now. And then I have about 3 other indicators that I'm going to be working into porting into my strategies. And that's kind of what I'm going to be working on heavily in 2020, and wrapping those all up into kind of nice strategy packets for subscribers as well, on top of what we currently already have. So basically what we currently already have is the strategies that you can utilize, or the indicators that you can utilize in a comprehensive strategy. And then we teach you how to utilize those. And then we also teach you how to build your own. But I would like to take some of the better testing strategies that I've been able to create, and wrap those all up into nice Pine codes. And it's kind of been a journey over the last couple of years to get good enough at Pine to be able to do this, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, it pulls off Quandle data, Mr. Ether, so it's going to be subject to issues. But what don't repaint are 10 and 20 simple moving averages. All right. Okay, guys, I think this is a good opportunity to get a little personal. And just say this, guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I just want to talk about the journey that we've been on for 2019 as we move into the end of the year. And you guys have helped us grow immeasurably in our subscriber count on YouTube. We've seen a lot of new faces come in, not only into the trading group, not only into our private community, but also just our general community as well. You guys, talk to us over on Facebook. You guys talk to us over on Twitter. You guys are in our Discord. You guys are here on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Roku with the Investor News channel. And it's been an amazing ride and journey and experience. I have grown with my team of analysts this year. It's been fantastic for us. We've had great success closing out another profitable year in trading crypto. I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We're going to be looking at expanding into other things moving into 2020 because of what our traders want to do, and also my desire to personally grow into kind of back honestly into other assets now that I've been able to kind of, in my opinion, very much lock down the way that I do things here in crypto. And it's become very, very mechanical, very rote, and that's fine. It's profitable and it's still exciting, and you only get these movements in this market, but always looking to grow, always looking to push, always looking to expand. So Forex, traditional markets, options, these are things we're going to be looking at in 2020. Automated strategies, these are things we're going to be looking at in 2020. There's so much that we're working on. There's so much that's happening behind the scenes, and we talk about this all of the time. The transition to the website, the online learning academy. You guys have helped us become the fastest growing premium educational group and trading service in the cryptocurrency space, and we're able to do it every single day and have this show, which is gaining a lot of traction. And you guys just know, you guys come here because we do our best to be honest and transparent and ethical as possible. And we live by those values, and we try to do a good show, guys. I try to do my best every single day. So thank you so much for all the support throughout 2019. You guys are absolutely amazing. You all know who you are. You all know who you are. We appreciate every single like. We appreciate every single subscription. We appreciate every single comment. I read all of them. I do my best to respond to all of them in a timely fashion. So on behalf of my entire team, all of the analysts, Trunker, Da Vinci, Jason, Alex, Fibonacci, even the ones who don't even post all the time, right? Even the ones who just kind of hang in the background. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. My analyst team, you guys are some of the best traders I've ever had the pleasure of working with. It is honestly a pleasure to be able to analyze the market with you guys every single day, to develop good trade setups, to help each other grow as traders, to keep each other accountable for the rules and discipline that we account ourselves for, that we have created, and that we hold our members accountable to. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have an awesome holiday. To the rest of the staff, to everybody that helps out, from Ben, Scott, Jack, Paul, all the moderators, Payday. I'm good. If I forget somebody, I'm gonna feel terrible. I try to do this a cappella. You guys, all of you, all the guys who help out, the ambassadors, Mr. Ether, Der Cryptomeister, you guys. I know there's more. I'm sorry. They're not coming to the top of my head. But you guys, all of you guys who help out more behind the scenes, you guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you. You guys help things run that people don't even know, that people don't even see. You guys help us out in ways that are innumerable. Particularly huge shout out to Jack. He's the one that helps us, kind of compile the news and get the news to you guys every single day. He works so hard, so make sure you give him a big thank you. Great guy, great individual, pleasure to know him. Scott and Ben, they do so much behind the scenes that you guys don't even know to bring this to you. Obviously, as primary emotional support to every single member of our group, to everyone who's come through, taken the course, and are still with us, utilizing our indicators and strategies, or have developed their own system and have gone out on their own and still a friend of the group. Thank you guys so much. You guys help us come here every single day, and it is a pleasure to work with you, to mentor you, and to teach you everything that we've learned, through our years of experience, and to bring you the best services that we can. And we have nothing but powerful vision moving forward into 2020. There's so much we're going to be adding, so many services we're going to add for our premium members. There's so much left to unturn. There's so much left in this journey in crypto and in trading and in wealth management and growing and investing in general. And we want to bring all of that to you guys and do nothing but grow throughout 2020 and absolutely crush it. We crushed 2019 and we're going to crush 2020, guys. And I'm pleased and happy to do it with all of you. And yeah. Thank you. So thank you for being you guys. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting us. All of everybody who watches the YouTube shows. Thank you guys so much. So it's been an awesome 2019. Thank you for making my life awesome. I have the pleasure to trade full time and do the show and mentor and collaborate with everybody. And you guys help make that possible every single day by showing up and giving us the support. So if you guys want to support this channel, you guys know how to do so. I want you guys to have an awesome, awesome holiday. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, wherever you guys happen to be. Be awesome, trade safely, and I'll see you guys not tomorrow, but the day after, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be good.